Welcome to Super Saturday, an exclusive interview with world title contender and South Africa's top-ranked UFC fighter, Dricus du Plessis, of course, on Super Saturday, live from his gym in Pretoria, the CIT Performance Institute.
That is it.
Loving it. Dricus, listen, this is easily going to go down as one of my top interviews for the year, so thank you very much for your time. I know you're very busy.
Only a pleasure. Thank you guys for coming through.
Talk to us, Plessis, about this gym, because it's not what I was expecting. And I mean, I looked through some of the other rooms that you've got here, the boxing room and the jiu-jitsu room, and then of course this place. I mean, you all of a sudden you think that you either think you're Rocky or you think that you're Dricus, or you transported and you become a fighter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was how we started this thing. I mean, we've been CIT has been around for a very long time, and when I started with the commercial gym, we first were much smaller a couple of years ago. We've been in the facility and expanding over the past 6 years, and that's exactly the vibe we wanted to create, is to say, listen, if you want to become a professional fighter, if you want to become number one in the world, this is a facility where it is possible. And if you want to do this for fun, it's possible. If you just want to do some extra activities, if you're an office worker, you work in the office all day and you want to get some, make some friends, have a good time. I mean, we're not here not everybody wants to be a fighter, and not everybody has to be a fighter.
Yeah.
The first misconception is people come here and they think, when I step in here, I'm just going to get punched in the face. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
No, we try to cater from 5-year-old kids all the way to professional athletes, and make it as fun and a great experience for everybody, from beginners all the way to professionals.
Love it. Now, the last time you and I spoke was a Zoom interview. It was just before the Whittaker fight.
Yes.
We didn't get a chance to touch base after that fight and to celebrate with you. But how important was that win for you? I mean, obviously very exciting on the night. And we were very excited going into the fight. Great result. But what did it mean for you as a fighter and for your career?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If you go look at a guy, just taking me out of the equation for a moment, just look at a guy like Whittaker and what he has achieved in the sport and in the world, and the kind of name and person and fighter, the respect that he has from everybody. And everybody is a Whittaker fan, myself included. And going out there, and the odds were stacked against me, and maybe in the previous fights leading up to the Whittaker fight, and I have to agree with it, finding my feet in the UFC. The stage is much bigger, the fighters are better. You're fighting against the top tier, especially in that top 10 in the world, and going out against the number one ranked middleweight in the world, and finally putting on a performance that I know I can put on every single time. And not only proving some people wrong, but proving so many South Africans and people all over the world that believed in me right. It was an incredible feeling, and that was a testimony, and that was all the hard work over the years that was paying off on one night. And I was glad I got to showcase that. I was glad to my team, my coaches, the people that know how I can perform when I'm training, and to finally give them that give them the result they deserve. Not only getting a win, but doing it in spectacular fashion, and making my country proud.
Exactly.
That's one of the most incredible feelings in the world.
We were very proud, want hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie.
Hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie. Soon they'll find out.
Yeah, the secret might be coming out, but it's fine. We'll wait for it for a while. Now, big fight, Sean Strickland. It's potentially, I mean, no disrespect to Robert Whittaker, but I mean, this is potentially life-changing, career-defining. How did you feel when it was first confirmed?
Yes, I mean, ever since I started this, being UFC World Champion has been the goal. Ever since I was a kid, it was more of a dream, and as I progressed, it started becoming more of a goal than a dream. And finally, we are at that moment where I'm going to fight for the world title. And like you said, career-defining, life-defining, life-changing. But for me, when just the day before everybody else heard it, I heard it. It was they just phoned me and said, "Listen, will I be ready in January?" And I said, "Absolutely." And it came about. And for me, it took me about a week or so just for it to settle in, because when I got the news, it was almost, I said, okay, it's the fight, we're getting the fight. And it took me about a week to really realize that this is finally happening. The world title fight is happening. And I'm so excited. I think it's going to be my best performance today, and I think it's going to, like you say, it's life-changing, but not only for me career-defining, but also defining what South Africans can do in the world of sport. I mean, we just saw what we can do, and we're just going to keep on continuing showing the world what we are capable of.
It wasn't my next question, but I mean, let's talk about that performance in Paris. I must tell you, we were, I think, about 5 rows in front of you.
Oh, great.
We were about 5 rows in front of you, and we were part of that explosion of noise when he blew that final whistle.
Yes.
But my nerves were shot up to that point.
It was incredible. Like, it felt like I just finished the fight. I felt like, the adrenaline dump. I just wanted to go home, go sleep. It was just too much for me. I mean, I think every South African felt exactly the same way.
Okay, let's talk about Sean Strickland. And what I've come to appreciate about you, Dricus, is the respect that you show to your opponents, to the other fighters. But I want to talk about Strickland's last fight against Adesanya, when, in my view, he didn't look like he was in trouble at all. It looked like he owned Adesanya that whole fight. And I mean, so the first question, I suppose, is did you expect that result?
Not at all. I think Sean Strickland showed up there, and I mean, like you say, he didn't win the fight. He absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
He made it look easy. He did. On short notice, he came in there, and I think nobody expected that. I didn't expect it. I didn't even see it going past the second round. I thought Adesanya was just going to finish him off early, and that's a testimony of character. He went out there. He couldn't have prepared as well as he would have liked to in terms of the short notice, but he went out there and he showed character, and he went and he took the fight right to Adesanya, and he stepped up to the plate when it mattered on the night, and that's the important part. So, that shows you that he has that big match temperament. He has the heart, and he has the character to go out there and win fights.
I mean, would you have preferred Adesanya, or I mean, does it not matter to you? You just fight the person in front of you.
To be the one to beat Adesanya would have been great, because he is such a big name in terms of what he's done in the sport and how incredibly good he's done. He's defended his belt multiple times, and he's made it look easy. And but at the end of the day, being the world champion is my goal.
Yeah.
My goal isn't set on any one person. It's about becoming the world champion. Although I would have loved to fight Adesanya, but I think myself and Sean Strickland, it's going to be a much less technical fight and a much more of a fan-friendly fight. I have to say that.
Well, look, I mean, that's the one thing I wanted to ask you. It seems to me when you fight, it's a fast and a furious approach. You go in hard immediately. I mean, there's no, let me first see what's going on here. I mean, you're at them hard from the opening bell. And I mean, it's worked. 9 knockouts or TKOs. There have been 10 submission wins. The guys don't have a chance when you get into them and into their space. But my question is, isn't it exhausting for you? I mean, doesn't it take a lot out of you? Don't you run out of gas? Don't you need gas for later in a fight?
Yeah, 100%. It's something that you need to consider, but especially in the beginning of the fight. That first minute or so, both guys are tentative, both guys are nervous, both guys don't, you don't know how hard this guy is, how fast he is. And what I like to do is, I don't, especially in the first 20 seconds, to feel out and, because the nerves are there. When that ref says fight, the nerves are there up until the first shot lands. So when that ref says fight, I try to land that first shot or just throw something. And then it's focused. Then all the nerves are gone. And one thing you have to realize, that nerves you're feeling, the uncertainty and the unknown that you feel towards your opponent when that ref says fight, he's feeling the exact same thing. And that's where I like to capitalize and say, okay, let's get straight into it. And then maybe after like a minute or so, calm it down a little, but still keeping up the pace, because like you say, I need the gas, but they also do. So if I'm fighting, I'm used to training like that. I always fight like that. So if I'm putting the foot on the gas, you need to be doing it too. Otherwise, I will finish you.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing I found, yes, I do get tired, absolutely, but I see my opponents more tired, and that's just overwhelming. So it's all. The other thing is, every fight has a different situation. When you see this guy, pushing the pace so hard, it's not working out. Up until this point, it's been working, but that's me trying to draw them into fighting my fight. Fighting a calm, slow-paced fight is not my fight style. So I would be playing into their domain, where if I'm coming and I'm just going full speed, they have to match that, and that's almost getting them into. That's like a shark pulling a lion into the water. That's exactly what my game plan is always.
Tell us how you switch over into fight mode, into fighter mode, particularly when you step in to, when you're about to start the fight. Is there a particular moment? It's when you walk out of the change room. It's when you walk up the steps to the ring. Is when you hear the bell. I mean, and the other thing is, when you stand there and you look across at your opponent, what do you see? Do you sort of blur over and become a different person?
Yeah, 100%. I think the guy, the Dricus that steps into that octagon is not the Dricus that you'll meet out here. It's and very good for that. I'll be locked up a long time ago if that was the same guy.
Yeah.
But the Dricus that's in there can't afford to be the Dricus that's out here. Now when I'm in there, I'm in there to kill. I'm there to win. I'm there to do my job, and that is to do whatever it takes to win that fight. And it's survival of the fittest in there. And when I'm out here, I'm a normal person. But the switch is very important because a lot of guys, it's happened a lot, especially with the younger up-and-coming guys, the amateurs. Because when you switch on too early, you will drain yourself. The adrenaline, everything will drain you. It drains your energy, the stress, just the nerves, everything drains you. So I try to stay away from all of that up until the ref asks me if you're ready to go. And that's when the switch comes. Because it's hard, especially when you're walking out there and you're seeing your opponent before that. I mean, you automatically switch on, but trying to stay as calm and as out of the zone as possible up until the ref says go. Because when you're in that zone, it's an intense place. It's a fast pace, it's adrenaline, and you don't want to stay in there for too long.
We spoke a little bit about Israel Adesanya, and he has been particularly vocal. And I'm not sure if it's theatre, if he's creating a little bit of excitement, but he has been particularly, I'm going to say disrespectful, but he has said things about you which have gone, I mean, if you pardon the boxing expression, below the belt.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's had a lot to say. You have been a little bit more circumspect in how you've replied to that. What is that about? I mean, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, I think one thing is, he's trying to push a narrative, and I know the theatrics of the game. I understand it all, but at the end of the day, there's a line, and for him to go out and do that, like I said, I've said it many times, that's not how a champion behaves. And maybe him losing his belt was a humbling experience. I hope, because you can't go out there and think you're bigger than the game, or think you're bigger than the society, because going out and saying the things that he did in terms of making racial comments in the sport. I mean, it's for me. That's why I didn't even engage in it, because it was so ridiculous that and everybody that knows me, everybody that lives in South Africa knows. For us, he tried to push a button, and that can't be pushed if you're a South African. It's something that he tried to push a narrative, and I'm not even engaging in that, because it's silly talk. It's beneath me, and quite frankly, I believe it's beneath him as well.
Well said. I want to take a complete step to the side and go, and we talk to athletes, all sorts of athletes. We talk to Springbok world champions. We talk to Proteas women cricket players. We talk to some of the best hockey players in the world. I mean, there's so many different sporting codes. And the one thing that they have come to accept over time, as they have, become better and better and achieved greater achievements and won bigger accolades, is the fact that people look to them as a role model, as an inspiration. And I mean, South Africa isn't unique in that. Every country in the world has a struggling youngster, a boy or a girl, who's looking at you and going, I want to be that fighter, I want to be that rugby player.
100%.
I mean, do you feel that responsibility?
I feel, it's something that, I was a very naughty guy in school. I was a good scholar. I was good in school. I was participating. I did good in my academics. I tried to. I tried to play all the sports and be involved in that. I wasn't, and that's what I feel makes me also unique than a lot of fighters we've known over the past years. Now we're seeing more of a new generation coming in that I didn't start to fight because it was my livelihood. I started to fight because of the love and passion for the sport. And me and my mom, we spoke about it actually the other day, and I said, listen, I don't put up my hand to be a head boy. I'm a fighter at the end of the day. So yes, sometimes I do things, and my mom goes, listen, people, you're on camera, you're on the spotlight. Like, you have to realize people are looking at. And I say, no, I understand that, but I try to be myself always. So I mean, I'm going to make mistakes. I do make mistakes, and if it's something that's not something worth looking up to, then I'm sorry if that happens. But at the end of the day, I'm still a person, and I'm trying to be me, because at the end of the day, that's what I need to protect, my friends, my family, the people close to me, and not lose myself in the spotlight. And because right now the world owns you basically. If you in terms of everybody looks up to you, like you said, to be a hero. And now I understand that responsibility, because me and my parents, we've had that talk, say, listen, whether you like it or not, people are looking up to you. And the only thing that I can do is try to be the best of myself. And yeah, like I said, mistakes there will be, and maybe even a lot more than people would expect or from anybody else. But only thing I can do is be my true self and try and be better. And if people are looking at me as a role model, hopefully I do them some justice, because the only thing I need to do is motivate one person, and I've succeeded.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
exactly. Just one person extra. I mean, you talk about being just a little bit better. I hope that you're a little bit better than Sean Strickland. That certainly is our wish for you. I mean, I know that there's a very tough training program that will get you to the 20th of January.
100%.
But I mean, take it from us, the country's rooting for you. All of your fans are rooting for you, and we wish you everything of the best.
No, thank you so much. I mean, I feel it. I mean, I see it, obviously, social media, and just walking up in the street, and people, I just feel that the love and the support, and how everybody is getting behind me. I mean, and that's what made it so special for me to be in France and go see the box play and win that World Cup, was to show them the love that people are showing me. It's that feeling is incredible, and that's what makes us such an incredible nation. The way how we have each other's backs no matter what, and no matter the hardships we face, because there's a lot of hardships we face in South Africa. It's almost forgotten as soon as we step on a sporting field, or if it's us against the world, and that's incredible to see. And I appreciate every single fan and every single South African, and there's a promise I'm making. I'm bringing that belt home.
I'm loving that. I've got to tell you that we, our team at Super Saturday, was the lucky charm for the Springboks, and so we are going to be the lucky charm for you.
That is what I like to hear, guys. Thank you so much.
Here we go, guys. Dricus du Plessis, of course, big fight coming up on the 20th of Jan of next year in Canada, as he will put down Sean Strickland. We talk to you live for Super Saturday from the CIT Performance Institute in Pretoria.